We are live on the air on YouTube. It's USFanTV. It's Thursday night. We are 6 minutes late from when we're supposed to be on, but it's our show. We can do what we want. I am Pat,
We suck. We don't really care if we're on time or good.
and that person is Chris.
I'm Chris. I set my expectations low.
We have breaking news into the USFanTV newsroom. Mhm. We are breaking this news through
Yeah,
a source that has knowledge of the situation. We can tell you two of the big roster spots, the surprises, sort of, that are going to be announced on Sunday. Chris Wondolowski and Christian Roldan are going to make the team this Sunday, according
two
to
Chris's,
us,
neither of whom is me.
according to our source, which is us. Not
Yes,
really us. It's somebody, the source, but the source knows.
according to a source with connection to the team. Yes, those are two guys who are going to make the list. I don't know that anyone is. Roldan is still having. I mean, he didn't look fantastic in the Gold Cup, but he's still having a strong MLS season. Wando, everyone knows our feelings about Wando.
You know what, though? I mean, whatever. It's whatever. Um, so
you would hope that based on kind of what the situation needs, the chances that I'm guessing either of them will actually get to play are pretty slim. So maybe it doesn't matter that much, but still, for everyone who was hoping that the days of Wando were gone, it would appear that is not the case.
yeah,
Or you'll find out that we were lied to. I don't know.
maybe not lied to, but maybe our source doesn't know. But I believe our source.
Misled.
I believe our source. Our source also told me that the rest of the roster was pretty standard. There were no;
Well,
those were
see,
the only two that
that's what
really
I would
stood out.
expect.
Yeah,
When we really get into our picks here in a few minutes, that was kind of what I expected. This is still, while qualification looks likely for us at this point, it's still not assured. Bruce still is trying to make a point here. He's going to go with the guys he can depend on. He's going to go with the safe picks, even if maybe we could score more or play better with others in there. I don't see him taking big leaps here when qualification is dependent upon sound play.
All right. So again, if you're just jumping in, a source tells us, USFanTV, that Chris Wondolowski and Christian Roldan will make the roster when it is announced on Sunday for the upcoming qualifiers. So there's two of the spots, and there have been some other leaks out there from other outlets about who may be on, who may be off. We'll get to that. We'll do the whole roster in a bit, but there is other breaking news. Cameron Carter-Vickers. We said nobody needs to be at Spurs. He needs playing time. Being at Spurs can be bad for you, can be harmful to your career. He's out the door. He's at least on a loan deal. He's going to Sheffield United, according to reports out
On
today.
Thursday, he's going to Sheffield United, not Wednesday.
Not Wednesday. United.
Stupid joke. I was going to make the joke if it was Wednesday that we do have some history with Sheffield Wednesday, but it involves guys who sleep with teammates' wives. So
I thought you were going to make a Hillsborough joke. I was bracing for something really bad.
ooh,
I'm
no.
glad you didn't go there. Thank you. Terrible. So he wasn't going to play at Spurs. He seemed to be right on the cusp of maybe getting a little bit of minutes, maybe League Cup or something like that. But this is better. I'd rather see him in the championship playing.
As we've discussed before, the reason we wanted to see him go out and get some starting minutes was that he's at that age where if he's not getting a starting role, he's kind of never going to get it because there's just somebody who's going to come up next who's going to get that, who's going to strike fire and get that spot, and you just kind of always become an also ran. You never get your shot. He's right in that sweet spot. He's got to get starting roles here, and if he can go there and shine, he suddenly gets either time back at Spurs. They look at maybe selling some of their other players, or he gets somebody who comes in and bids high and wants him to start. so he gets his starting role. Now it's at least on him as opposed to just sitting and waiting and hoping with Spurs.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. You sounded like Eminem there for a minute. There's one opportunity. It's one shot.
It's whatever you set your mind to.
So, yeah, Cameron Carter-Vickers is apparently going to Sheffield United. Good news.
No vomit on his sweater.
Mom spaghetti. Also in the news today, the Champions League draw was today. We as Arsenal fans didn't get to get drawn against Bayern or somebody this year. But our guy at Dortmund, Christian Pulisic, is going to be playing in what some people were calling the group of death. But I said by definition, a group that contains Tottenham cannot be a group of death. But it's Dortmund, Real Madrid, quality team there. Tottenham and Nicosia, APOEC Nicosia from Cyprus. That's a Europa League trip right there. That I didn't realize.
They tore some shit up. I mean, that team is incredible.
That is east of most other locations in Europe. So I don't think that many of the stars will make the trip to Cyprus for that game, but the other games are very big. Real Madrid, obviously, is a team you may have heard of. They are a quality team, and that'll be awesome to see Pulisic play against them. I think the first time he'll play against them is the 25th of September. I have that date in my head. I could be wrong. And, of course, with Tottenham, they will play at Wembley, where Tottenham has a atrocious record after playing there last year for Champions League games, and they're playing
Seemed good to me.
Premier League season there this year. So that should be good news for Dortmund. I think Dortmund probably advances out of the group, but probably doesn't win it because Real Madrid is good. So advancing out of the group in second, maybe that gets you a Bayern or a Barcelona in the next round. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you get lucky. So we'll see. But hopefully our boy Pulisic can get deep into the Champions League. It would be really fun to see. But first, you got to beat APOEC Nicosia. If any of our viewers are from Cyprus, they're probably bitching at my pronunciation.
It's their favorite team.
I've literally never heard of that team before. So
it's their favorite team. You have just pissed them all off. This is going to be like the Welsh coming after us now. See what you've done. This is why we can't have nice things.
The Welsh hated us for a while.
Vianney, as for calling in Heinemann and Gooch, it's not going to happen right now. Maybe if we won both of these games, you might see more experimentation in the next round. I still am not sure you will. I'm just not sure there's that many positions open that Bruce is truly trying out more players. I think he's really trying to refine things. Based on like the Roldan and Wando rumor that we've been told, that would kind of lend credence to the idea that the Gold Cup really was about finalizing those last few positions. It wasn't a further tryout. He had kind of picked who he thought he was going to take. And there you have it. This isn't aside from or maybe except or unless somebody has just a monster season. I can't imagine anyone at this point truly getting the chance to be noticed, much less winning a spot onto the plane and then challenging for a starting role or anything. I think at this point there's maybe at best 25 guys who have a chance to go. Maybe a couple more, but I don't even think it's as high as 28. I think we could pretty well, we've talked about who our 23 probably are. I think we're pretty close on all those.
Aside, there's always
unless they're injuries. Yeah, sure. Unless they're injuries, I don't see anything like Julian Green coming out of nowhere this time. Unless somebody just, Weston McKennie maybe has just a monster season. Okay, I could see where he's suddenly playing himself into a spot on the one
I was mentioning, yeah,
on the plane. Danny Williams, who's not even starting or playing yet for Huddersfield,
top of the table, Huddersfield.
Yeah, if he somehow it gets in and makes this role his own for that team, and puts in 5 goals or something this year, and really locks down the center of midfield on top of it. Hey, I think he's making a case. I think he probably passes like Dax, and maybe starts challenging somebody like Acosta for that role next to Michael Bradley. But I don't like that. That's kind of the 2 guys left. I think beyond that, we pretty much know who's going to get a chance. Hyndman, sure, if he's awesome, but we got to see him play. He has to win that starting spot, and then, if he plays like he did at Rangers, but the EPL is a lot higher competition than Rangers. Will he look as good this year? And if he doesn't do that, I don't see him getting a shot at this point. Maybe after the World Cup, but not until then.
Danny Williams did play, didn't he? Just not in the Premier League. Didn't he play in the League Cup match?
Yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, in the Premier League, he's not. He's been an unused substitute.
So, probably with what we know about, I mean, I don't mean to be Mike Woodward here, but I think that he's actually right. I think we're going to see a lot of MLS guys, as opposed to Danny Williams and a guy like or Emerson Hyndman or somebody like that. I don't think we'll see those guys because I don't know, they're not as close to Bruce right now. They're not playing as much.
I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think Bruce is trying to refine the system. He's not trying to reinvent it, especially now. I mean, he wasn't trying to do it when he came in. He even admitted in November, December that he pretty well knew who he was picking.
Yeah. Which is why I'm fine with him for now, but I would not want him beyond 2018 because I think we want to try to make, even if it's a failure, we want to try to make another leap. So,
and I think with the guys who, these young guys with a lot of talent, and there you can put Lyndon Gooch in that pile too, who maybe haven't achieved yet, but they're doing something. They are playing, and they have an awful lot of talent. In the next 2 years, you could see, I think you start looking at the future of the program. You stop looking at how do you fit Clint Dempsey in here. You stop making Michael Bradley the heart of this team. I think in the next World Cup cycle, we're going to have to look at who becomes the center point of the team. And yes, it's Christian Pulisic, but does he become what Donovan was, where he's just everything to the team? Or does he become maybe Donovan later after like Bradley was there to kind of carry that the weight of keeping the team in shape, where he just becomes the offensive presence. He becomes our attacking moment of brilliance, but he doesn't have to worry about like playing defense.
Mike's asking if we would be cool with a majority MLS squad. I'd prefer a majority European-based squad.
Are we talking for these qualifiers, or are we talking for the World Cup? I wouldn't be. I think my answer is the same for both. But.
Yeah, no, I would rather they be playing in Europe. I think Jurgen was always correct about that. There's a difference though between what I think Bruce will do and what I would want Bruce to do. I'd rather see him take a chance on Danny Williams or Emerson Hyndman or somebody like that, but I don't think he will. So I mean, we're predicting who we think Bruce will take. Not we would take, which would probably be a little.
Yeah, I don't see Bruce gambling in these qualifiers in particular. Maybe you'll see a little bit more. Should we win both games? And they're both winnable. I mean, Costa Rica at home, we should be able to win that game, even with the majority MLS players. Yeah, Costa Rica could play a good game. Yes, they probably are the 3rd best team in CONCACAF. But at home in CONCACAF, we could pretty much beat anyone, even without our best team. I mean, you have to look at, to some extent, I think you can still say last November was a fluke. Both those games were, but especially Mexico in Columbus. It was a poor start to a game, and it was a lucky,
we were a tactical disaster to start. I mean, we were honestly lucky they didn't score more on us to start that match because we were pathetic. But then they got the drug kingpin's header at the end and got the 3 points. So,
who noticeably absent from their call up for next week's qualifiers. I guess that's going to leave him with more time to launder some money.
I don't think we're going to see him. At least not playing in the United States. I can guarantee you that. So Um, okay, so we should do the roster. Let's do the roster. We've already talked
Yeah.
about a lot of these goalkeepers. Tim Howard and Brad Guzan. No surprises there. I would say Ethan Horvath for the third position, but who reported it was going to be Nick Rimando? You told me this
I
earlier
think
today.
it was Steve Davis said on Twitter earlier today that he's hearing it's Ramondo.
Okay, so I would prefer Horvath, but Steve Davis is a good reporter, and he's saying Ramondo.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised that it's Ramondo over like Bill Hamid. I mean, even Sean Johnson hasn't played poorly.
Sean Johnson or Jesse Gonzalez.
Great recently, but yeah. Or yeah, Jesse Gonzalez. I mean, after all the things you went through to get him in just a couple months ago, to not touch him now, I guess I could see it where maybe you don't want to throw him straight into a World Cup qualifier, but it's what we have available right now. If you're
the
a third string goalie,
I don't care.
Yeah.
Defenders. This is where it's difficult because we know for sure DeAndre is out. Bruce said that today. And we know that John Brooks is obviously out because he's out for 3 months. So here's who we came up with for our defenders. Obviously, Jeff Cameron, Jorge Villafana, Tim Ream, Timmy Chandler. I think Timmy Chandler will get the spot over Eric Lehigh, but we'll see. If Timmy Chandler doesn't get this spot, he's probably never playing for us again. I think Omar plays, obviously, if he's healthy, but he may not be. But if he is healthy, he plays. If not, that'll be Miazga.
Yeah, to me, that's going to depend on. I think we can guess. Just check if he plays for Pachuca.
Yeah,
tomorrow night. Because he made the bench Tuesday night. If he is back out on Friday, then I would say he's getting he's getting back into playing shape. He'd been out for 2 weeks. They were never quite clear on what the injury was, so it's unclear exactly what it takes to recover from it. But if he's at least making the bench, you have to hope that he's getting close. Maybe we'll see him tomorrow night. At least you want to see him on the bench, at which point I could see where he gets called up, just because we are at kind of a shortage of center backs right now if we're missing Brooks and Omar.
Nobody divides opinion more than Timmy Chandler. Like watching the chat, when we mention a name, it just blows up with people who love him, people who can't stand him. I'm usually in the can't stand him camp, but I kind of want to see him one more time. I need to know, because that injury perhaps that he had over the summer, where he didn't get to play for us in the June qualifier. I mean, he just didn't care like most people think, or was he really hurt? Now, if he gets called in, I just want to see what he does for us. If my opinion is confirmed that he doesn't really care to play for us, then great. Maybe it was just a thing where he really was injured in the summer, and then maybe he just couldn't stand Jurgen and his tactics, and he was giving up on that. Maybe it'll be a whole new Timmy Chandler. But I think that we will see him, and I kind of want to see him.
And Bruce has said, even recently, that he expects Chandler to be included or to be part of the program. So I still think he's got a role, and this seems like as good a time as any to put him in there. If we're not going to see DeAndre, and Bruce has said we're not, I'd rather trot him out than Graham Zusi. I'm sorry, Zusi, but I don't believe in him as a right back.
John Thomas is saying everybody wanted Jurgen out, and that's where Germany was. That there's a really good book called Das Reboot by Raphael Honigstein. If we're doing USFanTV book club, it's on my list. That is a major theme of the book, that Jurgen was very good at kind of setting the wheels in motion, but very bad at the individual game management. The same stuff was said about him 10 years ago in Germany as we were saying about him last year. So, and hopefully he's got the same outcome for the World Cup after he leaves, but I don't see that happening. The rounding out our top three, I had Hedges, Beasler, and Zusi, because they seem like, even though Hedges was kind of crap, they seem like Bruce picks. So we'll see.
Yeah, Hedges didn't have a great Gold Cup, but and really the start to his season hasn't been that great. I mean, they're not playing that well. It, they've been letting in a lot of goals, so it's not like he's been shining in MLS right now either. But I do think, based on what we've kind of seen of, well, if what we've been told is true about Wando and Roldan, it does make it look more like the Gold Cup was a testing ground for those final spots. In which case, that I think gives you an idea of Bruce's depth chart, and Hedges is right in there then.
I feel like, and people are always, again, this is what we think Bruce will do, not necessarily what we would do, but I feel like one of the things that Bruce is trying to accomplish is making us more of a team and not a collection of players. And I have the suspicion that he thinks that a lot of these MLS-based guys that know each other well work better together as teammates than, say, two European-based US guys who barely know each other at all. So I kind of think that that's his. I don't think it's just like the Jurgen Klinsmann, Alan Gordon syndrome, where you're a person I see a lot, so I'm going to pick you. I think it's more like he just feels they work together, and in some cases it's true. Beasler is a good chemistry guy and a good teammate for a lot of these guys. So we've seen Beasler and Omar work very well together. So I think that's what he's thinking there, right or wrong. But midfielders, we're going to start with Christian Roldan because that's what we've been told. We were told by our source, as we told you earlier today, he is one of the two that we have been told that were kind of surprise picks for the roster. So we're saying he makes it alongside another Christian, a kid from Dortmund named Christian Pulisic. Michael Bradley. Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to make it. Michael Bradley, Darlington Nagbe, Callan Acosta, and then I went Paul Areola, Alejandro Bedoya, and Dax McCarty. And this is assuming Fabian Johnson does not play because of his back injury. If he does, obviously he boots somebody off of this roster. Maybe Dax. I don't know. Maybe if you want to go with, he's not going to boot Nagbe. Maybe Dax or Areola, depending on what.
See, I think Areola has a shot because he's just one of the few kind of wide winger players that we have. Even if, and we discussed his Gold Cup outcome there, he looked good on the ball and he looked good harassing the other team to try to win the ball back playing defense, but his crossing was crap.
Yeah.
Now, maybe some more consistency from having kind of the an absolute starting position in MLS gives him the chance to improve on that. But I don't know that there's been enough. I wouldn't call this a large enough sample size to say that, oh yeah, no, he's fixed that. So I don't know. I have trouble seeing who Fabian could come in for right now. Having said that, he's one of those guys that if he's healthy, he's coming in. He's making the team.
Even if it's not a like for like, you bring him in.
Yeah.
He's Fabian.
Yeah.
So, at one point, we were calling him our best player. Obviously, I think we all know who our best player is at this point, but Fabian's still top 5 when he's healthy. So
yeah.
And forwards, 3 guys that are pretty much locks: Josie Altidore, Bobby Wood, and Clint Dempsey, assuming everyone's healthy. And as we reported, Christian Roldan was going to make it. We're also going to tell you that Chris Wondolowski. The irony that we get to be the ones that tell you Chris Wondolowski is going to make the roster.
I hadn't thought about that. That is perfect.
But yes, a source has told us that Chris Wondolowski is going to make the roster. So we're putting him on ours.
I've checked. I haven't seen anyone else say this on Twitter. So yes, the guys who always say fuck Wando to end their show are the guys saying Wando's going to be there next week. I do hope this comes true. Just for that reason. The rest of it I don't want him there, but
I'd prefer probably Jordan Morris. Dwyer's on a bit of a cold streak, isn't he?
Yeah, Dwyer hasn't scored in 9 games or something now. I don't see him making it right now. I think the competition is tight enough between probably, say, he and Morris, and it seems that Bruce has Morris ahead of him anyway. But then you put on top of that, Dwyer's not scoring. I mean, if he he'd had like 8 goals in his last 9 games or something, yeah, maybe we'd be talking about him.
Yeah, so we did say 4: Dempsey, Wood, Altidore, and Wando. Those are the 4. So no Morris is what we are telling you. We don't know that Jordan Morris isn't going to be there. We know that Chris Wondolowski is. So that's
there is
seems...
there is the chance that, say, Dempsey is listed as a midfielder, and then Morris still makes it.
That's possible. He kind of played in that position anyway. So
yeah, we talked about this earlier, where, and maybe Fabian is listed as a defender, and he still makes it, and then it doesn't kind of screw up our list. But yeah, based on kind of what we expect, this is I think a pretty sound 23.
And we were the champions of the Fabian to midfield camp for a long time, but I would actually almost rather see Fabian play on our back line, because we have a lot of injuries, and I don't really trust Jorge Villafana. Yeah, I'd rather see Fabian, and our midfield is pretty strong. So I would prefer Fabian be a defender, but I think Bruce views him as a midfielder. But we'll see on Sunday. I think they're going to do another halftime of an MLS match announcement on Sunday. At least I know the roster's coming on Sunday. I believe that they're going to do
gonna make
promoted on TV. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna throw up all over the walls. But yeah. So, but if the roster is not out, it'll be out Sunday. But we are telling you that Christian Roldan and Chris Wondolowski are going to make the roster. That is what we have.
Was anyone indiscreet?
No, I don't think so. But that'll do it. That'll get you thrown up at a Walmart parking lot. You haven't lived until you've seen a man pull over and throw up in a Walmart parking lot. It's on a job interview. It's good times. All right. What else? So how do we feel? We cannot tell you, ironically, anonymity. I cannot tell you who told us about Wando, because I can just tell you that it was a source with knowledge of these things. So we will see.
Yeah, we're not selling our sources out because we want to keep getting information in the future.
At one point in my life, I was a real reporter, and I had to really do serious source cover-up work and stuff like that. Now I do this thing, and I still take it nearly as seriously. So we're not going to give up our source on this one, but the source seems pretty sure.
Yes, Wando was the source.
You fuckers. I'll let you bastards report that I'm making it. Wando out.
You guys hate me? Take this.
Here's a news nugget for you. I'm playing. Go fuck yourselves, USFanTV.
Call it a Wando take.
Didn't put that one over the bar, did I? How do we feel? How do we feel about Costa Rica and our 4:30 in the afternoon matchup against Honduras on Tuesday? Do they not have lights? What's the deal?
Apparently, we've just given up on I don't know, having viewers. So what really upsets me is this is going to go in the bank of the men got poor viewership to the last World Cup qualifier.
This is it's Honduras's deal though to pick what time and everything. So
whatever, it's still going to end up.
So either they don't have lights.
It's got to be something ridiculous because of
or maybe it'll be 107 degrees at that time in the afternoon, and they're banking on the heat helping them or something like that. So because normally when we play in Central America, normally the games are at 10:30. They're ridiculous. They're the other way. They're ridiculously late. And so when I heard it was going to be 4:30 Central Time, I was like, it strikes me as odd.
They have to have Generalissimo del Amor on whatever the hell their ridiculous telenovela is called. I don't remember what I was going to say. How do I feel? Costa Rica, we should be able to win this. It is at home. It's a must-win game for us. It's not really a must-win for them. Now, granted, they don't like when they lose to us. No one does. But I still see Costa Rica at home, we should be able to win this. I think it'll probably end up being harder than it should be based on kind of what we've seen of our team in the last 9 months or 10 months now, whatever. But I still think, it's ours to win. Honduras away, again, it's an away game in CONCACAF, and you have to deal with all of the baggage that goes with that, which makes those games so much harder than they should be. But I still think we should be able to get a result there as well. I mean, frankly, I think both these games are winnable. You never want to say that a road game is a gimme by any means in CONCACAF, but Honduras is not of the same quality. We should be able to beat them.
It's good. Anonymity wants to know what's going on with Gideon Zelalem. So do we. I haven't heard a thing.
Supposedly he is training again back from injury, but that's all I know.
Is there going to be a loan deal here again, or is he going to be 78th on the depth chart at Arsenal?
I mean, the way the doddering fool does his business, he might get a loan deal, but it's going to probably be something he doesn't want, and it's going to be at the last minute.
That, or he'll get $180,000 a week. One or the other, but we'll see.
Le doddering fool. I hate that guy. I'm just done with him.
The question is, do you hate Arsene Wenger more than Mike Woodward hates Bruce Arena? On the hate. Because you guys, in your respective hate camps, you guys really hate your guy. So
I'm only recently into the hating Wenger. Like, I've been on the Wenger out bus for years. It's got to be 6-7 years at least now. I'm trying to think when I really changed on him, and I think it's 7 years ago now. I think it was probably about 2010. Yeah. It was sometime around then, that I said enough. He needs to just go. I didn't hate him, but these days, I think what really shifted me to the hate was the signing the new contract, saying that he was going to accept a director of football, then promptly, saying he was going to do that, signing the new contract, then promptly changing everything to go, no, I will not do this. What? Well, then you're not following the contract that you just signed, which also shows me why the club sucks. But then he just does the same old thing. He talks about how much money he has to spend. He goes and, days before season ticket money's due, we're in for Mbappe. We're going for all these guys. Nope, sorry. We couldn't get them.
Blood
and then
fam.
He goes all summer and does nothing. Yeah, blood fam.
Blood fam.
Whatever.
All right, this is USFanTV. The website is USFanTV.com. We have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where apparently we break news now. They are all USFanTV. We don't have Snapchat because we hate it. Holden's working the Tinder for us. We're on Craigslist, but you have to know where to look in a very special area. And of course, we're on YouTube because you're watching. You know that already, but you should subscribe because we like subscriptions to our YouTube channel. They help us. They make us feel good about life. So do that, please. And tell your friends.
Make us not hate ourselves as much.
Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. Tell everyone to
We're good with grandmas. Grandmas love us.
All right.
We're very polite young gentlemen.
Do you have final? Lacazette was okay. That's right, Douglas. I realize I should be saying the names of the commenters when I respond because sometimes I don't. And then when I go back and watch these occasionally, I'm like, I look like I'm schizophrenic. I just keep random topics just keep coming out of my mouth. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're wondering why we do that, when we're doing the show live, there's like people who give us questions. And sometimes I don't acknowledge their names. It's not just me having random thoughts over and over and over again. I'm actually responding. So there you go. With that, Chris, do you have any final words?
Stop it. Leave me alone. Go away.
He told me to do it.
Help me. No. Fuck Wando. Fuck Snapchat. You're done.
Wando in, and Christian Roldan in too. But Wando, we'll see
Yeah,
you.
actually, that's a good point. We did say in like our last comment of 2016 or last post 2016 or maybe our first of 2017 that we had goals for this year, which were to have guests and to start actually having real news. We've now achieved. We've had real, like outside guests, a few guests actually, but like, so I think we've had some good guests, and we've now broken real news. I guess
Hopefully.
you'll know
Hopefully.
in 3 days if we broke real news or if we're just talking out of our asses.
We'll see. All right. You're done.
Thanks, everyone.